I am your host, Dr. Hassan, board certified physiatrist and independent practice owner, helping physiatrists start and grow their own profitable practice so that they can achieve financial independence and live without limits. Welcome back to the Rehab Roundup. I am your host, Dr. Hassan. Hey, Dr. GKL, thank you. Today, I want to talk about why Rehab Liaisons are your best friend. I think there's a huge misconception in terms of what the role of the rehab liaison is in terms of acute inpatient rehab. In my experience, rehab liaisons can make or break you. When I first came out here and really started to enter into the acute hospitals and start to see patients and do consults, there was one particular rehab liaison who helped me tremendously in terms of just introducing me to a particular case manager on really the neuro floor. She had that existing relationship and she kind of vouched for me. Now, granted, I still had to go in there, do a good job, see patients, good recommendations, but she kind of opened up that door. I had a similar experience with a rehab liaison, a different acute care hospital, where she introduced me to one of the neurologists who has since been a huge advocate for me, as well as a huge advocate for the stroke patients, getting them access to acute rehab. One of the things I would recommend doing is actually sitting down with that rehab liaison team. That includes the director of business development and all of the rehab liaisons that kind of work in the different hospitals, and kind of just talk about what you think an acute rehab patient is, what you think an appropriate patient is, get a better feel and understand for what they're looking for when they go out into the field, and kind of what you see and what you're looking for as patients kind of come into the facility. I think once you establish and build that dialogue, that's going to help in terms of building and growing a relationship and really developing that trust among you and that particular group in terms of really being able to bring in appropriate patients. Some of the things that I did was actually do a lecture in terms of what my ideal rehab patient is. But again, like I said before, you have to be open-minded in terms of listening to what they're saying. Because this is what I always go back to. My father, before he passed, had 3 strokes. After his second stroke, they tried to send him to a skilled nursing facility. I wasn't having it. Was not having it. As a result, I kind of flew him out to Arizona and kind of got him the care that he needed there. But I guarantee you, back home in Chicago, they were probably looking at him and saying, oh, this patient isn't quote unquote appropriate for acute rehab. Now, my particular thought on that is, if you look at the 2 different levels of care, you have acute inpatient rehab and you have skilled nursing. There's a huge difference. So in acute rehab, the nurse to patient ratio is like 6 to 8 to 1 patient, nurse to patient ratio, versus in a nursing setting, it can be anywhere from 20 to 25 to 1 patient. So just on that of itself, for me, I want to put patients in the best position to be successful. Being in a situation where the nurse is trying to give meds and assess patients, and she or he has 25 of those, that's not necessarily ideal. In a skilled nursing setting, you may be seen by a physician maybe twice a week, whereas in an acute rehab setting, you could be a doctor 5 to 7 days a week, and if they have medicine coverage, that's 7 days a week. So it's more physician oversight in the setting. And also, biggest point possible, in acute rehab, it's 3 hours of therapy per day. That's not all at once, it's broken up. Whereas in the skilled nursing setting, it's 1 to 2 hours per day. So if you think about it, the patient is sitting around 22 to 23 hours per day. How is that beneficial in terms of getting that patient back to their prior level of function? So for me, I'm going to give a patient the benefit of the doubt to give them the best chance and the best opportunity to get better and get back to life. Because for me, I went into this to, help patients, help them get better. And it really gives me joy seeing a patient go from completely independent to being able to, even if it's using a walker or crutches, walk out of the facility and know that they're going to be all right. So when I hear, the patient isn't appropriate for rehab, that kind of makes me cringe, because I try and treat every patient that I come across as if, they're my loved one. So I always give them as much of a chance as possible to get better and get that opportunity to really get better. And again, the rehab liaisons are key. They have relationships in these acute care hospitals. They know the key players. They know the different service lines. They can make introductions and make your life easier. What you have to do is you have to put your ego and your pride aside, sit down, talk to them, and kind of figure out what's the win-win, as well as for them, but ultimately for the patients. The rehab liaison is your best friend. If utilized right, they can help you grow your practice and help you have a huge impact on the community that you practice in. So that's my key takeaway today: is the rehab liaison is your friend. Develop a strong relationship, open the lines of communication, and watch your practice grow. I am your host, Dr. Hassan, Rehab, board certified physiatrist and independent practice owner, helping physiatrists start and grow their own profitable practice so that they can achieve financial independence and live without limits. Go to www.profitablepracticeplan.com. I got a great resource for you to check out and hopefully purchase. Thank you. Have a good night.